Abi Agina. And right now we want to talk matters agriculture. And joining me in studio is Dr. Ignatius Kaheu, who is the Chief of Party for USDA Kenya's Semi-Arid Livestock Enhancement Support, just to give us some insights into matters to do with livestock and, of course, some of the initiatives that your organization is pushing towards ensuring prosperity for all in the agricultural sector. Perhaps let's just start off with what does Land O'Lakes do for the farmers?
Land O'Lakes is a big corporate in the US, which means it deals with farming systems, dairy operations. It's actually a dairy cooperative company. But in its social responsibility activities, it does development business outside US, which is not for profit. And that's what we are doing here, funded by the US government through the US Department of Agriculture.
All right. And Dr. Ignatius, looking at Kenya, we have a very vibrant agricultural sector. And of course, livestock has been a key player in terms of earning revenues for the country. And looking at this sector, where are we? Are we making any major milestones in terms of research and also improving productivity?
I think Kenya has had a long history in farming, especially in livestock or animal industry. But we still have a lot of potential, especially in arid and semi-arid areas which are not exploited, where we can generate a lot of meat and byproducts, livestock byproducts, to assist the people who are in those areas who are considered amongst the poorest people in our country. So dairy has had a lot of advancement, although there are challenges now with the diseases. And also the devolution has had an effect, a negative effect on the service delivery when services are being moved from the central government to the local government level. But there is a big potential because, as you are aware, Kenya's almost 80% land is arid and semi-arid, which is underexploited in terms of production, in terms of irrigation, and this is what we'll be concentrating on.
All right. And you've raised some pertinent issues there, Dr. And as an organization, what are some of the key issues that you've been able to address, and what can be done towards ensuring you can partner more with the government of the day?
Land O'Lakes, like many other development partners, have been working in this space to try and help the wananchi out there to try and move from what I would call subsistence or traditional farming systems into farming as a business, where people look at animals and the production systems as input and output system or a marketing system. So Land O'Lakes has been working in the last 4 years in 6 counties in Kenya, what I would call like a pilot project in Meru, Tharaka Nithi, Kitui, Machakos, Makueni, and Taita Taveta, and working closely with the county government and the private sector to try and manage the meat value chain better, where the producers are linked with service providers, with government service providers, and the market, because the driver of the industry is the market. And as you are aware, consumption of meat is increasing as our population increases, and our preferences as our middle class expands. The industry is ripe now for us to do this kind of farming.
All right. And what does this mean for the average farmer down in the village?
It means that if the average farmer has 2 or 3 goats or a cow or a bull, they will have a link with the local market, however small it is. And that market is a graduated system. You can take your animal to the village market, then it moves to what we call secondary market, and finally it will go to the consumption end like Nairobi or Mombasa, who are the biggest consumers of meat and meat byproducts.
All right. And generally, agriculture in the country has had a very difficult time, bearing in mind we had the drought early in the year, and we've also had the fall armyworm. And how will this impact productivity moving forward?
I think, like you said, it's correct. There have been a very severe drought, like there are areas in Kitui which didn't receive any rain in 2015. So the idea of getting out of this challenge is to have innovative farming systems Where we have potential to irrigate, like around Masinga Dam, we should use that potential. Along Tana River, there is a lot of water when it's flooding. We should harvest most of the rainwater and use it for production. The other thing is we should produce fodder or grasses or forage as a commercial enterprise. Instead of just depending on natural grass fed by rain, we can grow grass and it can be a business. And because the feeding is the biggest challenge when there is drought, when we have no fodder to feed the animals. So what it needs is innovation for people to change their way of doing business, and they will be able to make a decent living out of this.
And finally, Dr. It's been the clarion call from all sorts of NGOs and even agricultural experts that for Kenya to advance, value addition will be critical. And from where you sit, how do we move the average farmer to be in a position to be able to be innovative as well as embrace new practices that are sustainable in this day and age?
I think what we need to do as a country or as an economy is to invest on the critical areas in the value chain, because the market is the one that will demand for value-added product, whether they are meat products like sausages or special meat cuts or leather products. Once the market is vibrant and the linkages for the people who can process and add value are engaged, then the farmer will have an open market and where they can get real advantage from their production systems.
All right. And parting shot, do you feel Kenya is on the right path towards being food secure?
Kenya is on the right path, but I think we have missed some few opportunities. There is what we refer to as Maputo Declaration, which says any country that wants to be food secure must invest at least 10% of their national budget in agricultural production. I think we are far below that. Until we get there, we might not be food security.